Hello, 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 Wanderers. Welcome to Soul Wanderings with AJ.
And Natalie.
Hi, Natalie.
Well, I'm just looking. I was like, did we start on the? There we are. Oh, that's cool.
We've started on all of
This
the
is
platforms, all
me,
two of them.
Natalie. Oh, multitasking. If you don't know this already, I'm more of a one-tracked lady. So I focus in the now. I'm working on it, but it still doesn't, it's like I'm excited. I'm
I think
excited
it's
it's
good for
Wednesday
you to
night.
focus on the now. It's good. I'll do the multitasking,
Okay.
and then you can be here.
I'll be here now. I have the gate of the now in my design, so I can be fully present and it doesn't end up being not self.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
So
Then you get to do all those things that you do, those
you're
things that you
here
say.
in the now. So, welcome everyone. We're hanging out on YouTube and we're also on Facebook under Soul Wanderings, and we're live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. So grateful that you are here with us. And if you're listening to a replay, that is great too. We appreciate all of the support. While you're in one of the chat rooms, make sure you say hi and get to know the other wanderers. Um, they pile in throughout the show and it's so good. If you guys have a question, just make sure you type that in all caps. That way I can catch them easier and we'll share them with our audience and answer them for you. If you want to know more about Natalie and myself, if you're new, you can go and visit soulwanderings.com. And if you have a show topic request, or any other information or question that you'd like to share with us, you can go and email us at connect@soulwanderings.com. During the day, Natalie and I hang out at a place called Vibes. If you want to know more about what we do during the day and the kind of work that we do, is our life's purpose, our passions, and the thing that just makes us super happy, visit vibesnow.com.
Love vibes. Love, 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 love.
And then I also have the Sacred Raven in addition.
Oh, I love the Sacred Raven stuff too.
I just sprayed some yummy spray and it smells and feels so good. There's all kinds of good stuff there. But yes, tonight our topic is going to be the light body. The light body.
Yeah.
The light body is the holder of our consciousness, like our record and our identities throughout all of time. And it holds the living code of the divine blueprint structure, us, and maintains our direct connection and communication with our higher selves and source. So good. And tonight we're going to talk about it. Do you want to start?
Wow, I was just like taking that definition in myself because I was like, well, it's this energy stuff and that vibration, and you just eloquent, it's like it's this. Okay, it is that, and
Well,
so much
that's
more.
my definition of it.
I love it
What's
because
your
I get to
definition?
learn. I get to learn your perspective, and then what I just bring to the table. So when I'm thinking about the light body, I'm thinking first of all, that's our energy field, which has been just over the last several years, really for me, really tuning in to my energy body in a much deeper, more in-depth way than I did before. And really feeling it out and all kinds of things. I don't even have the words.
It's all coming in so quickly.
Sometimes visions. So to interpret the visual that I get in my mind's eye and into words sometimes is yes, comes in quickly, quickly, quickly. And to
I
incorporate
understand.
everything that I've studied and then put it in language that will come across to people that are listening and say, why do you care? Maybe I'll say that. Why would you even care about your light body? So then I'll answer that question and then we'll continue with the conversation to say, because because it matters. It it it's it's part of our attraction field too. And so as you if you keep attracting, if you're experiencing aspects outside of your life that you don't like, and there's different, particular types of people, if they say if you go out and you meet the rude person 5 times in the day, you're the rude person attracting the rude people.
Mhm.
And so that's a basic thing in life of why it matters. There's
Mhm.
something about getting lessons in life and getting schooled in life, but then there's parts of like, wow, maybe there's insight to making some adjustments within your own frame. The other thing I'm going to say is this is something that has to do with the light body because it's correlated to energy, and what we hold inside of ourselves affects our energy field. And have you ever heard this? Because I've heard this often. I did not say that out loud. And I said, you might as well have, because if it's being held inside of you, it's being said out loud energetically. There's no secrets in the energy world. There just isn't. The more that I'm around
Mhm.
people, I'm like, well, it's like standing naked in the shower because people can just see.
I
And so
agree with that.
it's just like, well, make sure that there's no inside stuff that you wouldn't want someone to hear because the world hears it.
And my face says it a lot of times too. I'm like, did my face just say that?
It's like, can't hold it back. So
I
that's
do my
beginning
best.
about the light body. Tell me about your stuff that you have, that you know about this light body of ours.
Well, okay, so I always have heard about the light body, right? Because when you step into the spiritual world or communities, it's often referred to, but you don't quite understand what it is. Nobody sits there and explains to you. It's just an assumption that you just know what it is. And so for many years, I didn't have an understanding of light body until, I mean, I had a very basic elementary version, like, oh, it's this, like, it's in my auric field or something like that, right? So I just had this assumption. And it wasn't until I started working in the Akashic records that I wanted to know, like, how am I doing this? How am I working in these records, and how, I may say a little prayer and get in or energetically go there, but how is this happening? And so, just through education of reading or watching videos, I came to learn more about the light body. And so I realized that it is the holder of our consciousness records and our identities throughout all of time. And so are the records. And so our light body it is like, it's not really a physical thing, but in a way, I like to look at it as that's our own physical record keeper. And
Mm,
that information is sent in a vehicle called the Merkaba to the Akashic fields. And so when I started like connecting the dots and realizing a body is associated with auras and chakras, and I'm working in those fields too. I'm reading auras, I'm seeing auras, I'm learning about chakras. All of these dots started connecting for me, and it became just really fascinating and really interesting. And it all came down to understanding that you may have a light body, but is it activated? Have you unlocked its full potential? And when I started working with that, which wasn't until even like recently, within the last year, that I understood the power that our light body actually has. And it's not just about your light is showing, it actually is like so much more than that. So basically, to keep it really simple, for me, it was like the power of remembering. So you take the remembrance of your human suit, your meat suits, all of them, and then this electrical circuitry of your light body, and you just ask. Or, I mean, you could even command when you do, like when you have pieces of yourself outside of yourself and you're like, I command all of the pieces to come back to me. And that's like soul retrieval. And we can talk about that too, because that is also encompassing in all of this. But if you take the remembrance of all of that and ask for the memory to return to you, and the emotion in the soul is also a remembrance. So it's the vibration of the remembering, like, I remember, I remember, I remember you. I remember you. I remember us. I remember. And automatically you just feel like I'm getting tingles just saying that out loud, because honestly, you can feel it. It's a vibration, it's an energy, it's a light, like a warm fuzzy blanket that's wrapped all around your physical and energetic body. That's just what I have come to know and feel and know to be true for myself, and all of that. Also, do you know much about the Merkaba?
No, I've done in some one of the programs that I studied for several years, there was a Merkaba meditation, and I'm currently reading a book about that.
Mm.
And so I'm absorbing it. So this is just right on track for that. And then I was just watching this. I was talking to you a little bit about this podcast that I was watching, and he was talking about the Merkaba, and so it's coming online for me. And I trust that. I trust that
Mhm.
I'm called in and drawn to the things to learn right on the time, my time. So I don't get too wrapped around the axle, especially living my design. I just allow it to be in the flow. And so the Merkaba, I feel like it's an important aspect for people if they're starting to hear about it, to research it and tune into it, because it's
Mhm.
obviously a timely aspect, even though it's been around forever to learn more about. So no, I know the shape of it, and that it, but not much really. What?
I wish I had a quick image that we could post up, but without me doing a search and finding one that's good for the show, just Google Merkaba and you'll be able to see the sacred geometry image that it is, because it is a combination of two tetrahedrons spinning opposite of each other. Actually, I believe
Isn't it
there's
like
three.
pyramids? Oh, three.
There's three. Technically, there's three. There's a lot of information we could give on the Merkaba, and yes, it is part of the light body. The way I would consider it is like a fully functional manual machine. It's the motor of your light body,
Oh my
I would
goodness, that
say.
makes sense. That makes sense
And
to me with
and
that.
actually, if I remember correctly, Merkaba in some other language means cart. And so you're like, and there's even images of like even biblical references of like four different winged humans in this cart, and they all mean something. Don't quote me on this because I haven't studied enough to know, but they're in this chariot,
Hmm.
which is a cart, and there's some symbology behind it. There's symbology to all of it, right?
Right.
Um, but the Merkaba is the physical shape of when the soul and the electrical body are together.
Mm.
And it extends, like, if I remember correctly, it's like 50 to 100 feet, maybe 75 feet outside of our physical body. And so it is part of the light body. But we're talking about the light body in whole, and that could be a whole other show, I'm pretty sure. So
Well,
we'll
we'll
just
have to
stop
make
there
note of it
on,
for a future topic that we're going to get into
yeah.
more
So when you
thoroughly.
reach the full capacity, you're able to like tap into any life that is like in the records that you choose. And so there are ways to, do soul retrieval and activate your light body and activate your Merkaba. And actually, I could probably go over some of those later in the show if we have time. But the Merkaba combines different energies to bring in perfect balance. So, like, you think of the masculine and the feminine, and the earth and the cosmos. And when they're together in this synchronicity or this union, it results in the activation of light. and this protection around your body so you can transport consciousness to higher realms. And it also reminds us of like our potential power when we find the balance in that Merkaba and the light body, we are able to raise our vibration.
So you reach it through meditation, and I mean, I feel like I've connected and work with my light body, but not in that meditative way. Definitely resonate with the framework of human design, and so I see the essence of what's defined and undefined in the form, and getting polluted in the undefined areas, I think would cause like a dimness of the light body. And then I also correlate the Merkaba, and I wonder about the location actually in the body, if it's similar to the G center or the identity center, which is core, which would look like that's where our heart is, even though the heart center is a different center in the human design. I feel like it's correlated with the G center or the identity center, where the magnetic monopole is, that calls out to the world and attracts. It's the point of attraction.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about that more in depth. Maybe that could be one of our candid conversations that we plan on having here on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, because
just like digging deeper into that. I can feel a resignation with that, and even with the consciousness crystal, just all of it, all encompassing.
All of it, yeah.
I think it might just be different language, right? And so, but I mean, if you haven't had experience with it, I can give you like a really simple, and our listeners, you guys, if you guys don't want to take a minute, I can give you a very simple way to connect to like retrieving soul fragments and activating your light body and even activating your Merkaba. It's really quite simple. And I learned it, and it was one of the ways that I was able to raise my frequency in order to reach the Akashic field. And I don't know if you're interested.
Let's do it. Yes. Yes. Pick me.
I mean, we have time.
We do have time.
So understanding that we all have a soul, right? And pieces of our soul get left in different places just by experience and conscious behavior, thoughts or actions, or even people. Like there are different ways that our soul gets fragmented. And it's really important that you retrieve all of your soul fragments when you're activating your light body. And then you'll want to activate your Merkaba because, again, that is the engine to your light body. And so, what let me see for a minute. Let me check in just a minute. Okay, this is how I will show you. Take some deep breaths and really connect to your physical body right now. Just take in a breath through your nose and push out through your mouth. That's the best way to center and ground yourself here in the now. And I want you to bring your awareness to your heart chakra. So the way that I do that is just envisioning my green color around my heart chakra, or even holding my hands to my heart. And so bring the awareness to your heart. Continue to take the breath in and out. And just do it naturally. You don't have to force it. And I don't want anyone passing out, because it is deep breath and it does feel really good. But once you feel comfortable with the deep breathing, just resume your normal breathing, but continue the breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then I want you to repeat in your mind, or I feel like there's power in words and frequency, so I like to say out loud, activate my soul's frequency. Activate my soul's frequency. It's as simple as that. This will activate a frequency that will send a vibration out to all of your soul fragments. And your soul fragments will hear or feel that vibration, that frequency, and will answer and will come back to where that vibration originated from, which is here in the heart. So it really is as simple as that. So keep your awareness at your heart chakra. And as your soul fragments continue to come back to you, you're going to feel sensations in your heart chakra that could show up like warming, tingles, pressure, coolness, chills, pulsing. It feels different for everyone. And this will take a different amount of time for everyone as well. And you'll know when it's done when those sensations dissipate. So you'll feel them in your heart space, in and around your heart chakra. And then once those feelings dissipate, your soul will feel more complete. It just puts you in a space of just like comfort and peace. You just know, you just trust your intuition at that point. And once you feel like that has been completed, it could take minutes to a couple minutes to several minutes. Once that's done, then you're in a space to activate your light body. And it's really quite simple. So keep your awareness in your heart chakra. Then say out loud when you're ready or in your mind, whatever you're most comfortable with. And where before you said, activate my soul's frequency, this time you'll say, activate my light body. Activate my light body. And then you'll begin to sense your strongest senses. With your strongest senses, I should say. So, like if you sense energy with your eyes or your nose or your ears or whatever that looks like, you'll feel it in your strongest senses. So, whatever first comes up, trust that that is what that is. And then this really bright light that will glow from within you is going to, like, if you have your eyes closed, you're going to see that light inside of your body, like just all over inside and totally encompassing in your body. And it will begin to expand from the inside to the outside. Now, this is in your mind's eye or your intuition, you guys. So you're going to sense the light in and around you. And it's going to cover your physical body completely, which will give you the next opportunity to activate your Merkaba. So give that just a minute. And I am going really fast. I don't expect everyone to do this right here and now, but it may be happening that quickly for you. But you could always go replay and try this. So after you activate your light body, you're going to do a simple thing again. Just simply ask, activate my Merkaba. And for those of you who have a clair ability or know what your clair ability is, if you have the clair of clairvoyance, you'll be able to see clearly this Merkaba form around your light body. So some people who have the clairvoyance will actually see the physical Merkaba around their light body. And if you can't see it, that's okay. Not everyone is clairvoyant. You may have a different clair ability. You may sense it. You may feel it. You may have a smell that goes in association with it. You'll also be able to just feel the energy around your body. The same way you would feel in your heart as we were doing the soul fragments or soul retrieval coming back to us with our soul fragments. So it may just feel like you have your whole body is warming or cooling or tingling or whatever that looks like, but all around you and not just in your heart chakra like before. So it's like your whole body is going to light up. And that's going to give you the ability to tap into your gifts. And so if you're not sure what your ability is, your clair ability or your gifts as far as maybe you're an energy healer, maybe you're a seer, whatever that is, it's going to give you the ability to know what your gifts are. And to push it a little further, you could also say out loud, I tap into all of my abilities, and see what happens. Because when you do that, what you're doing when you say out loud is giving the universe permission, like, hey, yeah, I know this is going to work. I'm giving you permission to assist me in this because I want to know what my gifts and abilities are. And it's a practice. It's not going to happen overnight. But there are power in words and vibration. And the gifts don't just present themselves right away, right? And everyone's like, it didn't work. I don't have any gifts. I don't have any abilities. My light body's broken. That is not true. It does take time. It's a practice. It's just like the muscle, how we talk about developing a stronger muscle, whatever that looks like in your body. But they will begin to come to you. And usually the first one that presents itself to you, the first gift or ability, is what you're going to need most with whatever you're experiencing in your life at this present moment. And you'll notice things change when experiences happen for you that didn't happen before. Like maybe you have some precognition or some predictions that come up, or just some senses like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. And whatever shows up for you, just pay attention, because it's your light body's way of showing you that you are going to need to start focusing on that for what is coming up for you in the near future. So you can practice and practice and practice and eventually master. And all of us have multiple gifts and abilities, and all of us have this beautiful light body. And so those are just really easy ways that I feel when I was beginning to raise my frequency and connect to my light body, that worked for me.
Beautiful. Now I'm activated. I was said in my mind's eye, I could see these, the little cartoons. They'd be like, activate. Like they would clink their rings or something in my mind's eye. It's like, activate.
Yeah, it's amazing how many things that we will see in our mind's eye, or just get that thought that pops up that we just shoo away. We're like, that's not real. That's just my imagination.
No.
But it's not. The first thing that comes to you is your intuition before your brain gets in the way and starts overthinking it.
Right.
And so trust that, you guys, because we all have this ability, this intuition inside of us. It never goes away. And I think that it's just us getting in our own way and, being human and second guessing everything and forgetting our power, like we've talked before. So when you get those first initial feelings, the tingles and the warming or whatever, however it shows up for you when you're activating your light body, trust that. Because when you trust that, it's part of a manifestation process that you'll get more of what you're putting out, what you're trusting, and what you're believing in. You'll get more of that. And that's how you develop that ability and those gifts, is by trusting that this light body and the engine of the Merkaba to carry your light body is working for you.
So what are some of the things that people may experience after the activation? And is it a regular maintenance to meditate regularly, to tune in? I mean, of course, it feels a little rhetorical to ask that, because anything needs to be practiced. Whatever
You
we
just
do on a
answered your own
regular,
question,
yes,
really.
yes,
But
that,
yeah, just like with anything, right? We have to practice. Like I didn't learn to go into the Akashic field just by taking a 1-day course and then going into it the first time. I didn't reach the records for a long time, way into my course, way even after my course. I even went deeper. And so I think with like anything, practice makes perfect. Not that I want to say perfect, because nothing is perfect. Everything is perfect for what you need in this moment right now. But I really think that it took me a while before, and I got frustrated. I won't lie. I was like, maybe I'm just not meant to activate my light body. Maybe I'm just not meant to go into the records, because some of us just, timing is everything. And maybe that just wasn't for me at that time. But I was persistent and deeply committed. And I think that's what it takes, because we all have this ability. We all are able to activate our light body. We're all able to do soul retrieval, or, you know, collect our fragments. We're all able to activate our Merkaba. All of these energetic tools are in and around us at any given moment. And whatever's meant for our best and highest good right now will be. There are no accidents.
It's true. I'm just going along, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's going to be my turn to talk, and I don't actually know. But I'll
What do
come.
you mean you don't actually know about light body, or you don't know what to say?
Well, right, to have something on demand to say to
Yeah.
this, because as you're talking, I realize, okay, this is not necessarily um, the language that I use every day. I use other language all the time, and I'm pretty sure that in many ways I'm talking about the same thing. But I
I was going to
recently,
say, with that being said, just say it how you feel it, because
right,
point of view is different for everybody. And what resonates with me may resonate with some, and what resonates with you will resonate with the rest. You just never know.
no. So I recently had a session with someone who had was was regularly experiencing anxiety. And so I said, well, when did that anxiety start? And so she went back to an event that was traumatic that happened to her when she was 12. And I did a little work with her on going back to that and re-experiencing that event, but in an empowered way versus a victimized way. And
Yeah.
she wasn't able to quite get there in her now body. But I feel like this is also aspects where it was organic that it happened. It wasn't anything that I had planned on, nor did she plan on doing it in the session. But and then I remember to bring her back into the now. So get her back in her body. And she literally was lighter, like lighter, glowing a little bit more, had a
Uh,
more of a smile. And so while it may not be exactly what you were walking people through, I do have this awareness where I can see people light up
mhm.
after letting go of the heavy,
Yeah.
where it's not the same kind of process, but the light body is glowing. We do glow when we let go of the denser vibrations or the difficulties, or allow
Mhm.
healing to happen to the trauma. I do know, I just know in my down here in my heart area that we don't have to be burdened by anxiety and trauma. It's
Yeah.
here to be healed, and it's actually the opportunity to do it while it's in the body. It happens in the body, and we're able to let go while we're in the body, because the ether doesn't work the same.
Mhm.
It's into the form where the healing can really be done. And if there's things that were stuck from previous incarnations, then it's when we're incarnate in this meat suit where we can actually heal even the past life things,
Mhm.
and then make that brighter.
That's how powerful we are.
We know it's the consciousness where we get to be conscious, and don't give your power away. There was a conversation I had today. You know how easy it is to give our power away to
Mhm.
this was a,
Any
to just a person we don't even know. You know, there's leaders, or to a headline, or to something that we read, or a misinterpretation with people that we're interacting with. Whew. Okay. All those things is like, don't do that. Don't give our power
Yeah.
away. I keep practicing this in myself.
Yeah. It's a good thing to keep on top of the memory bank of when you have an experience and you start to feel some sort of emotion to it, to remember that it's temporary what you're feeling, and the amount of energy that you give putting it out into the world or towards another human being only hurts you. It doesn't hurt them. And also, you don't want to hurt and you don't want to hurt anyone else.
No.
And so it's just wasted energy. And so just developing a practice like in the moment when start things come up, oh yeah, okay, this is temporary. I'm only going to feel this way for a short amount of time. Tomorrow's a new day, and I don't need to push this energy or blame or hurt onto somebody else. It's just part of cleaning up your own shit,
It's
honestly.
true.
So,
Be remembering that any interpretation or an internal reaction is your buttons, your triggers, your
mhm,
cleanup work to do. Allow it to take it out to the dumpster and get rid of that stuff. And then I just want to put out a reminder that said if you experience something like crying, and this often happens in doing healing work, where you have grief or an emotional reaction where you're tearful, don't push it back down again, because those tears are literally washing that out of your system.
right.
And it's really healthy to just let yourself um, emotionally express and cry it out. And then
Mhm,
if you are a person that's with someone, this is an additional thing to know, that oftentimes if you're the person that's supporting someone or in the physical space with someone that does have an emotional reaction like that, don't touch them. Don't interrupt that flow. Allow them to just process it out. Oftentimes, we as supporting people will want to touch them or hug them or hand them a tissue. And the reality is it interrupts their flow, and then it just like short circuits that healing moment where we can literally trust our bodies to know what to do to go through the healing process, just like we can trust our bodies to breathe and pump our blood. We don't have
mhm,
to think it through. We don't have to think about, thank goodness that we're not in charge of all the automatic things that happen with the body. If the body automatically cries, it can be trusted to finish that job all on its own.
mhm.
And so don't interrupt someone's emotional process. It can be difficult when someone's going, and even that can be a crying emotion or several emotions. Oftentimes, if you allow a person, if it's not you, you can do it within yourself, but it's also good for the other to allow it to be fully done. Like
Mhm.
go up and then down and to completion. The more that we watch that, if anyone out there is watching that, the more you come to an awareness that it's an experience, and there's the other side of that experience, and the healing can happen. And
Yeah.
I feel therefore the lighter of your frequency and moving through that um, to a higher vibration for your own self and your life.
Yeah. And also with that being said, in reference to the light body, it keeps your light body clean,
Mm,
right? Because you can weigh your light body down with energy.
yes. Someone recently told me, she says, you need to go like this on the inside of your aura. It's like my windows are
Ah,
dirty on the inside. With my windshield in this car that I have, it always seems to get dirty on the inside. Ooh, whoop, that drawer
yeah.
dropped. So it's just like clear, clear, clean. It's
Mhm.
always maintenance and housekeeping, isn't there?
Always. I know for me, it's a daily practice on repeat during the day. I just always have this awareness like where my energy is. And if I start to feel off, I check in with myself. Is this mine or is it someone else's? Because I don't want it. It's no good for me.
Either way, You don't want it to be yours for keeps or someone else's for keeps.
Exactly. Exactly. I think it's really fun to learn about the different types of layers that we have, because it's not just our physical body, it's our auric field, it's our etheric field, it's our light body, it's our Merkaba, it's our chakras. I mean, there's so many more than we learn about, and it's it's all encompassing. And so just learning the different layers and how they work together and individually is a lot of fun.
So do you know if it's this is a question for conversation, and also when we feel other people and they feel heavy, what can any one person do to assist that? Can, like, say, can I go into and I know the answer because it comes up, but so I'll just answer it like that, and then I'll have this part of the conversation that said, okay, if you're around someone that is feeling very heavy, you don't necessarily have to go and have a conversation like you're really heavy. You should clean up your light body. I just listened to the show and they were talking about the light body. Your light body needs to be cleaned up and housekeeping. That may not go well. It depends on the person. But I feel like it's also beneficial to do, there's several different, like in Buddhist, several different, in a lot of different modalities about ways to offer up loving kindness and compassion for other people where they are, and that energy will be transmitted to them, as far as holding them in the heart space of love, and the best we can to do it unconditionally, without judgment, and to send love to them, to meet them wherever they are, and that could help them in where they are. On the flip side to that, I've had a few conversations recently, and I've done it often, about worry. To worry about someone is to wear them thin, and to also believe that they can't handle it. So where energy gets just transmitted and there's no distance with it. So for all you worriers out there, let's see if you can change that up a little bit and actually take your worry that's wearing the person thin and adjust it to where it becomes an absolute belief in the person's ability to make it through whatever may come their way.
I like that a lot. I really do. I've also gotten to a point where, my energy is precious, and
Mhm.
anyone's is, right? But I'm learning to work with my energy differently, where I'm just not giving it away.
Yep.
And I'm left with like health issues or fatigue issues or whatever that looks like, because I give, 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 give. And I think it's important to be aware that there's a difference between being compassionate and supportive, and there's between that and being a deterrence to them or an enabler. And so I think it's really important, everything that you said, because we are all here for this school. And if someone is doing our homework for us, we don't learn.
That's a really good example.
Uh,
Don't do someone else's homework.
well, right. Like, you can worry about me, but how does that support me?
It doesn't.
It doesn't support me. And me worrying about you doesn't support you. And so I also have stopped, like, it's one thing to like send someone good vibes really quickly and just be like love and light to you, or good vibes to you, or whatever that feels like, and really authentically mean it in that moment and send it, and then cut off the energy source. So you're not continuously getting drained and people aren't expecting you to heal them. I've just had to work that as a practice because of the work that I do, or people are continuously coming to me and wanting me to fix their problems.
Oh, yes.
And it's really important that you're aware of the energy that you're not only putting out, but giving away. And your time is worth something. And so I think having, the compassion and the understanding and the listening ear for a certain amount of time is really important. But to be aware of where your energy's out and what you can truly offer authentically.
There's times where,
That's a big sigh.
yes, well, life always, I'm it's just continual education. Um, so I've had an education recently about if I were to just synthesize it, what my life is showing me is how permeable our energy fields can be, and how unconscious or unknowing people when and recently it's just like not really clean energy where I feel someone maybe holding me in their thoughts and in a particular way that I wouldn't want to be held in their thoughts, and how it
Mhm.
can tap my energy field
Mhm.
a bit and pushing back at that. And I don't, I mean, I think about how do we, so let me ask this question of you. How do we set up, because I know it's possible, some parameters where it's like, nope, that's not welcome in my energy field and you can't have access to me that way? Is
Mhm.
it that simple? With an awareness, I can say, you can't have that access to me, and I can push back and say, in your own space, not in mine. You're not, my energy field is not available to you.
Mhm.
Do you know?
I only know what I know from experience, and I'd like to say yes, but I also know that's not true for me. So I can set up healthy boundaries and all kinds of energetic walls, but if there's a lesson that I'm supposed to learn from it, it's going to happen regardless.
Mm,
Because what's meant to be will be. And I believe that every experience we have is for our greatest and highest good. And so, with that being said, everything that we experience is a lesson.
mm-hmm.
And if I'm unable to create these healthy boundaries or energetic walls and the energy still penetrating me, there's a reason.
That makes sense.
And so maybe digging deeper into what that reason looks like and feels like and clearing it up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe my walls just aren't strong enough because I don't have an understanding of why it's happening. And it's something that I need to learn for myself.
Well, yes, and then there's also teachings out there that say there's no reason to have walls. We're all one, and so
Exactly.
that it's one energy, one. So
Mhm.
there's no reason truly for walls. To have walls is to be in fear of something, and then
Mm,
to in certain
I
circumstances. So
agree
I
with that to a certain degree.
right
But also, I think healthy boundaries
for
are
sure.
important. And part of healthy boundaries include not only physical ones, verbal ones, but energetic ones.
Right. There's so much nuances to the language, and each person that's listening to it, me, what I'm going through and the things that I'm thinking about, you're the things that you're thinking about. When people are thinking about it, I would say trust what is coming through you intuitively,
Mhm,
because you'll hear it in the way you need to hear it for whatever's
mhm,
going for you, and I can hear it in the way that is coming through for me. We're not trying to be experts on it all. It's we're trusting that we're here having this conversation and
mhm,
playing the role and having fun in what we get
mhm.
to do here
Yeah,
on
it's
the
really
show.
good. It's really good. I had a question, but asked for clarification if it was a question, and it's more of an uncertain statement, perhaps.
Okay.
But before we get to that, there is a chat going on here on our YouTube that we're doing that's happening live. And also, we have the chat open on Facebook, but it is very active in YouTube. If you guys are in YouTube, if you'll just hit that like button, it will help us get an awareness to other people who don't know about us yet, seeing how we are new here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that support. And also, thank you for your interaction in the chat room. It really means a lot to us. We saw a comment last week where it said, the gang is back together, and or somewhere along that lines. And I was just smiling from ear to ear. I'm so grateful that you all have found us here after leaving our previous platform. So I love that you're all here. It makes my heart so happy. Like my cheeks hurt just thinking about the support and love that we have, that you guys all followed us. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the question / uncertain statement was, being a victim is not the way to heal. We were talking, you brought up victimness. Would you look at being a victim as not a way to heal naturally?
Not me personally. I resonate so much in self-empowerment. And so there's two ways that I'm going to say this. So I'm about self-empowerment, and the way I see healing in certain situations is to support my younger self in being able to do something that's more powerful than being overpowered. And energetically, if we raise our personal power, we won't be victimized. This is my perspective and point of view, that someone won't prey on someone that's going to be too much to handle most often. They'll just go and pick someone that's easier to manipulate and mold. And so if you did experience something where you were victimized, where that was something that you could remember differently, I have found that that's a way to heal. In certain situations, it's very fluid, the records and various things. So I don't know everything about the records. I just have had my own experiences, and I do find. Now, the other thing is, there can be soul contracts, and there could be you being the victim for a particular reason or role that you play. And so I would say that it's really about whether or not a situation where you may have been the victim, whether you feel like that is really holding you down or holding you back, or it's a thing that needs to be healed, or perhaps you fully embrace the role that you played in this certain situation, and then you just see that that aspect was in the greater good to be the person in that. So those are the two ways that I could see that particular statement.
Very nice answer.
There's times where that's what you were there for. Is your part to play. If we think about movies or our shows that we love to watch, there's a role for all of it. There, and so there's those aspects that I look at it that way and say, oh, it depends. Is it holding you back?
Plus, we're in the greatest movie of all time right now.
It's so
one that will go down in the history book.
Today I was laughing because, wow, these times, it's really, I'm so grateful for everything along my life in the last decade or two that supported me learning things along the way to be prepared and be able to face these times with what I have on board me, because there's times where I can take it a little less seriously, even though it's depending on what's happening. There's people in my world that are being highly affected by various things that are going on, and it's a really big deal. And I've been in similar places many, many, many years ago, but I feel for people that are really being put through the ringer in their life.
And I am just one of those people, there's a purpose and meaning for it all. And you may not see it right now, but once you get through it, you will.
Yes.
And a lot of people will call me out and say, how can you feel like that's the case when this happened to me, or whatever that looks like? And after you've gone through whatever you've gone through, it's up to you to decide how to look at it. I've gone through
Mhm.
some really horrible, horrific events in my life. And the person I am today looks at them in a much different place than the person I was shortly after they happened. Time and growth and healing, it all works wonders if you do the work and trust that everything is in divine order. Now, I don't wish that anyone goes through anything horrific by any means, but this is life and those things do happen. And at the end of the day, you can choose to be that victim, or you can learn how to be in a place of gratitude for the experience because it made you who you are and it offered you something. Like I've said this uh, so many times, I've lost count, but I would never have a healing center. I would never have a spiritual show. I would never be in the place that I am now if I hadn't gone through those horrific events that I'm referring to. It just was not on my radar. And knowing that I went through those events and trusting in my heart with every fiber of my being is the reason why I am doing what I'm doing. And I can't imagine my life any other way. This is my life's purpose. It's everything I do, eat, sleep, and breathe. And I know I'm here to help people. I'm here to assist them in finding their power and healing themselves and holding their hand along the way, whatever that looks like. And so you just never know what life is going to throw at you. But it's important to have these tools and these supporters and teachers and books and all of this good stuff that we talk about here on the show. So the fact that you're here listening says a lot. It says that you're in a place to receive all of this goodness. And kudos to you. Like, good job. Way good job for showing up for yourself.
Oh, I agree with that. I think back through my life and I didn't choose like this. Where I am in my life wasn't a conscious choice along the way.
Mm-hmm.
It is a result of the way that I lived all the days before now. It's all
Exactly.
this preparation, learning, growing, experiential things to get. I paid all those days to be here where I am. And I definitely think it's worth it.
Definitely worth it. And we'd love to hear about your stories too. If you guys feel like um, you're right where you're meant to be or you're working on it, we love to hear all points of view. We love to learn more about you as well. So thank you for all of the little emails that you send or the comments here in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you do so. If you feel so inclined to share, we would appreciate it. All we want to do is support you and teach you about new things you may not have known or a little more about a little something that you may have known a little bit about. It's all good stuff. If you guys want to learn more about Natalie and myself, you guys can go and visit soulwanderings.com. And if you have a show topic that you would like us to discuss or get into a little more, make sure you email us at connect@soulwanderings.com. When you go to our website, there are links there for you to connect to us on social media. That's where we post the show coming up in the next week. And is there anything else, Natalie, before we wrap?
Nope, I think that's a really lovely discussion on the let everybody connect to their light body and bring their soul fragments back and shine
Let
their
your
light
light
brighter.
shine. Let
That's
your
right.
light shine.
Yeah.
It's
It's
so
been
good.
brilliant in this
Mhm.
world.
It's so good. I'm just so grateful. And thank you again to all of our wanderers here in the chat and spending time with us. You guys are all seriously the best. And we'll see you guys next week with a new topic. Yep.
Have a good one.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Good night.